Welcome to Learn VB 101. This is Project 1, Part 2. My name's Jim, and we're going to continue on from Part 1. I've had a few requests to slow down, so in this part we're going to go a little bit slower, but feel free to rewind or pause this video if you're doing your project at the same time. Now in this part we're going to learn how to add some more stuff so we can chuck on our project. In Part 1 I sort of forgot to tell you what we're actually going to make. So what I was thinking is we might actually make a stopwatch or a games timer. So when you're playing chess or Scrabble with somebody and they always seem to take forever, then you can set like a two-minute move limit or something on them. You could always double this as, say, a timer for eBay or something for when your auction's about to end. Seeing you're not supposed to snipe and have two pages open at the same time. I didn't say that. Okay, first thing we're going to do is open up our project again, and we're going to go and click on VBP, and this is going to open all forms and modules, etc. in Visual Basic 6 for us. Except we haven't got any modules, but we'll get into that later. Now, if this brings up the coding side and not the iFace itself, which you would like to work on, then this is the button over here, which you can use to toggle between the two. Okay. So, what I was thinking is it'd be nice if we had, say, a clock on our iFace. So to do that, we're going to go over to the big A, that's on the bar on the left-hand side of the screen. Now, this is your label maker. And again, we'll just draw a rectangle on our iFace. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, because we can fix it up as we go along. In most of the stuff I do, I just make everything work, and then I play around with how it looks a little bit later on. Now you'll see it says label 1 as default. Now that we've put a label on our iFace, we need a timer. A timer is exactly how it sounds. It will allow you to loop commands and set times that stuff will happen. Okay? So go over to the picture of the stopwatch and left mouse click on it. Then go over to your iFace and draw a square. You can't actually make the size of it bigger or smaller, but it doesn't matter because you're not going to be able to see it anyway. This is just so you know that it's there. Now what we're going to do is double click on the face of the clock that's on your iFace. Okay? Now your iFace is your interface. Okay, this is the part of the program that everybody's going to see. Okay, so we double click that and it's going to open up, so your cursor's in the middle of private sub timer 1. Okay, and so under timer 1 timer and above n sub is where we're going to write our commands. Okay, n sub means that's the end of the command cycle. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in label1 dot caption equals time. Now remember, label 1 is the name of the first label that we put on our iFace a second ago. Okay, so what we're basically saying is put the time on label 1, and because it's going inside of a timer, then it's going to do that over and over and over again. Right? Now this gets the time straight from our own PC, so we don't need to ever set the time and keep resetting it, etc, etc. Okay. Now you'll notice as soon as you type in the dot, okay, label 1 dot, it'll bring up the most common codes, okay, the most common actions which most people use. Okay. So all we got to do is highlight it and double click it. Automatically puts the word in there for us. Okay, now that we've done that, we need to tell the timer to turn on. Okay, now we'd like to do this when the program first loads up and starts. Okay, so what we're going to do is go back over to the iFace and click on a blank part of the iFace where there is no commands on there or no buttons, etc, etc. Now we double click on there and it goes, opens up private sub form load. Okay, now this is where we put stuff that we want to happen when the form first loads. Right, in this case we want to turn on a timer, so we type in timer 1 dot There's our most basic commands again. Enabled equals true. Now under that we're going to type timer2.interval equals 1. Now you can see that it's come up interval again. You can go and do this in the properties menu, but I always do it in here because once you learn how to do it in here, you'll never forget to do it. Okay, and if anybody's familiar with Photoshop or anything like that, you'll know there's always 15 ways of doing the same thing. Okay, so this is just the way I do it. If you'd like to do it a different way, that's fine. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to click the run and then start, and also you could just click the play button that's up there, which we'll show you a little bit later on how to do that. And if you've got no errors, the program will load and you should see the current time. There it is. Woohoo! Well done. Now we make another label, another timer. You could put both of these commands in the one timer, but we're just making sure you get the hang of this, so we're going to repeat the steps just with a bit of a minor change so you can understand how it works. Okay, not going to make a great deal of difference, except it might use a minuscule bit more resources in your computer when you run it, but nothing that you're going to notice. Okay, but so for this we're just going to do it this way. Okay, so you get used to doing it. So double click on your second timer and then type label 2, because this is our second label. Okay, and then dot caption equals date. Alright, and then we might just clean it up a little bit so it's a little bit neater. Now close the form and toggle to your iFace and double click on a blank part of the iFace, and we're going to type in timer2.enabled equals true. That's basically saying timer 2 switch the damn thing on. Okay, and of course underneath that, timer2.interval equals 1. Okay, now if you go to run then start, your iFace should load and we have the time and the date. And if we click about, it says this crap was made by Jim. Now as always, we want to save our work that we've done so far. Even if we're going to keep working on it, we don't want to lose too much if the power goes off or VB freezes, and trust me, it does happen, especially when you don't want it to. So file, save project, and that's it. There we go. That concludes part 2 of lesson 1, VB 101 of I'm Jim, and I hope you enjoyed it so far.